In this video, we're going to have a look at how leaning or not leaning influences the way we have to perform certain steps, specifically ochos. We must understand how two aspects of tango do influence each other. One is the biomechanics we use, the three biomechanics being vertical, compressed, and extended. The other aspect being the technique we use, the two alternatives being the flexible open style of dancing or the Milonguero style. The flexible embrace and the technique that goes along with it is emphasizing choreographic flexibility. It gives us most possibilities as far as sequences and elements are concerned. We are achieving these possibilities by moving through all possible positions in relation to each other. As you can see, by pivoting, we're opening up a whole range of different positions in relation to each other, thereby making things like ganchos and saccadas possible. Dancing with the Milonguero style of embrace and using the technique that goes along with that, we are focusing on maintaining close physical contact and a very close, nicely connected embrace. However, that nice embrace makes pivoting all but impossible simply because the spine is not flexible enough. So in order to still be able to dance ochos and play with different rhythms, we will do something like this instead of pivoting and stepping as we did before. This leaves us with three biodynamics, leaning towards each other, being vertical, leaning away from each other, and two different techniques, one relying on foot crosses, the other one relying on pivoting and stepping. Altogether, that makes 6 combinations, 3 biomechanics multiplied by 2 techniques. So now, in order to understand what actually works and what doesn't, we shall have a look at the 6 possible combinations of these 3 postures and the 2 techniques for moving. Let us first start with leaning away from each other and trying to do ochos with pivots and ochos with foot crosses. So we're exaggerating the extension of the embrace and at the same time start dancing ochos with pivots and with crosses. As you can see, both are perfectly possible. The same is true if we remain vertical. We can pivot or not pivot, just as we like. Anything goes. So how about leaning towards each other using the compressed biodynamic, the one that is supposedly the most important, most common one in tango? Using the compressed posture, especially if we touch at the torsos and not with the hands, it is obvious that pivoting is all but impossible. Kathy would now actually need to pivot her hips by 90 degrees. She can go to roughly 40 to 45 degrees. Anything else is anatomically impossible. If she does pivot further, her shoulder girdle will also rotate away from me, disturbing the balance in the couple. In contrast, while we lean, it is perfectly possible to use the crossing movement and to dance the Milonguero style back ochos. In other words, as soon as we decide to lean towards each other and use that leaning as a connection in the couple, we also automatically decide that if we want to dance our sequences in a nice way, we need to stick to the Milonguero style technique. At the same time, it means that if we are leaning and we feel like dancing ochos with pivots, doing back saccadas, dancing circular boleos, we first need to change the biomechanic, standing upright or in an extension, leaning away from each other in order to make those movements available to us in an anatomically organic fashion. We hope that this small explanation of the influence of the biomechanics on the way we have to dance our rochos and other elements will help you clarify this aspect in your dance and give you a nicer quality of movement in a lot of more difficult, more advanced elements and sequences.